whenever I am stewing on some projects, some people, some processes, anything that's going on that I don't feel comfortable with, basically I'm trying to figure out the solution, but I'm not going to resolve it in my head. I write it down in my journal. It's allowed me to create and dictate the actual problem, and it makes me start being solution driven. And what I know too, when I write that down, it's probably big enough that if I'm thinking about it the next day, and if it's in the journal the next day, there has to be some action on it.
Feeling like the problem exists and instead breaking the problem down into small tasks to accomplish. And that's just like, we should probably stop saying the word CrossFit, but that's just like a hard workout. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we did a workout where I did 100 pistol squats. Now that's one-legged squats, and I'm getting close to being good at them, but regardless, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I have 100 squats to do in the next 10 minutes, I broke it down and just 5 sets of 20, 10 sets of 10. It trailed off a little bit. But then when you're doing it, it's difficult, but you know that you're almost done. Boom, 10, you're done. Take a breath. And you can actually use that same mindset when it comes to anything you're going through, business, investments, family stuff. If you look at, this is not personal, this is an example, but like, I need to save my marriage, I need to do something to not get fired, something gigantic, break it up into pieces. Start by talking to your wife, maybe schedule in 5-10 minutes a day. Start by maybe doing dinner instead together. Or if it's at work, you're worried about being fired, talk to your boss, say, I want to be successful at this 1 or 2 things, and think about that 1% thing, almost like you said, of just gradually getting better. And it's funny now because now I'm about to backtrack about this CrossFit thing, but like that's probably why it's so addicting and people talk about it so much, is because of the way you feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you feel amazing.
It's phenomenal, and I think that's. And look, here's the thing though. Some people, I'll never forget, when I always used to wake up at 4:44 and I was working out and I was crushing.
Did you try to beat me by a minute? I said 4:45, by the way.
That was from Trevor, actually. Yeah, that's actually, I think that's why he did it, because a lot of people did 4:45. I know I was at 4:44, but that's before kids.
Okay.
So that was tough. When I had kids, it was, especially when the 2 of them were not going to school, things were a little off, I wasn't getting any sleep, that's fine. That could be the case for a lot of people, or schedules, maybe they go to work at 6. You don't have to work out in the morning. Maybe, hopefully, you should work out sometime throughout the day. But like you said, instead of rolling out of bed, looking at your phone and saying, oh my gosh, I got to answer these, maybe it's just 10 minutes of meditation. Maybe it's some stretching. Maybe it's a walk on the treadmill. Maybe it's getting outside and feeling cold for 4 minutes. Like anything to just just calm yourself down, concentrate, and or focus on, or put all of your energy on something that's going to make you feel better, as opposed to just getting into the grind right away.
Yeah, it's amazing also what breathing does. I've just started experimenting into it.
A little Wim Hof action?
A little Wim Hof action, so I'll actually listen to him every once in a while. It's pretty intense, but something that's really simple you can do anytime, and it's just an instant boost of, dopamine and serotonin and all the good feels. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, and then exhale. Make it 6 seconds long. Do that a few times. You have an instant change. It reduces your stress. I can't remember what I was reading, but it was like 20 to 30% stress reduction. That can happen in 1 minute, not even a minute. So anytime your mind, because I call it the monkey mind, when it starts just running on its own, the little chaos, you're thinking about this, you can't focus, you can't concentrate, you're worried about something. This happens to me a lot before bedtime, especially if it's been a really stressful day and I know the next day there's big problems or big opportunities occurring. I'll just sit there and I'll just breathe. Just close my eyes, breathe. And man, that can center you. Now you can think. And the next thing you should do when you're feeling that, and this is something I do at night, but I also do it in the morning, whenever I am stewing on some projects, some people, some processes, anything that's going on that I don't feel comfortable with, that basically I'm trying to figure out the solution, but I'm not going to resolve it in my head. I write it down in my journal. I write it down because then I have gotten it out, I've put it on paper, and I've actually formulated, and it's allowed me to create and dictate the actual problem, and it makes me start being solution driven. And what I know too, when I write that down, it's probably big enough that if I'm thinking about it the next day, and if it's in the journal the next day, there has to be some action on it. It can't be put off. If it's having a tough conversation with somebody, if it's whatever it is, if it's changing a habit, anything like that. But if there's some frustration going on and it's repetitive, it's something that needs action on. And that is a way to identify those and also get them out of your head and just reduce your stress level.
Yeah, and it's not like you're meditating either. It's not like you're trying to block out everything. You're just calming yourself so that you can approach different situations.
I'm trying to take 20 things and the emotions attached to it down to one and think about it pragmatically.
Break it down in smaller pieces.
Break it down into smaller pieces.